Hi, folks. Nick Tuckert here with the Historical Fencing Guild. Before we get into it, let's drop our sponsor. The Historical Fencing Guild is brought to you by The Simple Sword and The Fighting Axe, both available through Amazon at www.amazon.com/c/authors/Nicholas Tuckert. That's me. The Simple Sword and The Fighting Axe are the simplest, easiest ways to learn the basics of weapon-based martial art. It's told in simple, clean English without a lot of hard-to-understand non-English vocabulary. This is made to be accessible for anybody using the fine art of stick figures, folks. Both of these are available through Amazon. They're cheap as possible. You can also support us by going on our Patreon at www.patreon.com/thehistoricalfencingguild. Look for the little white boot, and we'll be good to go. Folks, my chat started arriving just a little bit early, so I feel just a touch like Brian K. Morris. And folks, I am loving it. It is Friday in the lovely land of almost corn. Rain has descended, meaning it's actually spring and not that horrible Arctic white fluffy stuff that I don't care to discuss this morning. Now, let's drop through the amazing thing of comments. Foxy was the first through the door. First comment. Indeed it is. My precious. Well, it's nice to be appreciated. My comments is, yes, precious, shiny comments is, beautiful little interactions is. And then this happened. Our own Cindy Cap, beloved to us all, drags in and flops. Hi, y'all. Hi, Cindy. Do we need to send the dreaded Draco Duck upon someone? I'll do it. I will unleash the dreaded Draco Duck upon anyone who would do you harm. Rough week, Cindy? Internet visions, mucho overtime. I am sorry that you're having to deal with it, but the money in the bank's going to probably help some, I hope. And yep, don't burn out, Cindy. We have the most supportive chat that I know of. Folks, I love you. Oh, God. Since programs behave as reliably as a three-year-old on Jolt Cola. Woohoo! We'll get into that. I have a related comment to that in just a moment. Be sure, while we're talking about this, to hit the like. Be sure you're subscribed. Ring that bell so that you get everything I post, because as the weather breaks, the things make. And be sure to share this around so that other folks you think might be interested can get in on this lovely Friday night shenanigan. Hey, you know what, Cindy? If there's anything we can do to help, let me know. And, of course, if you folks want to make Cindy feel better, hit her up, save www.CKOEPP.com, and get her newsletter. She's uplifting, she's entertaining, she's educational, and she's not appreciated where she is. You need the magic work or else hammer? And that's magic with a K, folks. Asking what I may not know jobs, but I'm good at thinking outside boxes. Sometimes we live outside the box, but inside the list field, and we'll be talking about that. Hail, Frog G. Frog G's got Operation Wrench going down. What a wonderful person. We've got Thesis through the door, and folks are greeting Frog G. We've almost caught up with the comments. Degree in adult learning with a specialization in performance improvement. Cindy, if you can hold up and sustain a little longer, I'll pull out my magic crystal ball and say opportunities for people with your specialty in adult learning are going to be vital, because the education system basically broke for at least 2 years, And between that and the misfunding of a lot of things, we're going to have a lot of people who are chronologically adults but are undereducated because of all the disconnect that the pandemic has caused. So I really believe if you can hold on and you keep your eyes open, there should be opportunities. If you're looking to reach out and help, um, I know Work One provides a lot of programs for people trying to get back into the workplace. And with the great resignation that went on and people switching around, you might be able to find work as a trainer there that might be ties or more resources. I don't know if Work One is just an Indiana thing or it's a multi-state thing, but look up whoever provides your services for the people who are unemployed and looking to get certificates and stuff. You might be able to find an employer easier than you might think. Sorry, I have to. Oh, great. Okay. Turn all the volume down here. Yes. Alrighty. Vocational rehab. Exactly. At least that's what I'm thinking. In corporate training. Perfect. That's what I was really thinking. Vocational rehab, being able to help people get jobs and learn, and you might really have a chance. Johnny Cage is batted right in. Man, Johnny, you are one of my favorite vampires of all time, and never stop being you. And let me know if they're mistreating you, because I can't stay up really late to watch Triple D these days. So if they're mistreating you, you let me know. I might just lose my mind and yell at them some. So there is fascinating things of Cindy Kep and Foxy sorting out what Cindy Kep does. And of course, Frog G says it best: tickle the algorithm, smash the like, dingle the bells, and subscribe. Now, we have caught up mostly. I skimmed over them having a direct conversation. Please follow in the comments. And if you think you can help Cindy Kep or anyone in our comments with anything in a civil and from a perspective of actual knowledge, please consider doing so. Now, we're going to get into the meat and potatoes, boil and mash and put them in a stew. We've got a couple things on the menu tonight. First of all, as always, I hope everyone's doing well. I'm feeling good. My brother had a unspeakable, the plague scare. It turned out that wasn't it. He just got the dread flu. But it meant my last couple nights were really kind of more exciting than I prefer to have. So, I'm sure he's recovering just fine. He's already being snarky, but it was a little spooky for a minute there. Let's see what else is going on, because it keeps trying. And before I don't want to lose it. Hi, Kitty. How'd that thought on Spear go? I'd like to know how your thoughts on Staff and Spear go. You may need to find a different presenter than our dear Thesis Lee Kayang. Close enough. That's as close as I can get out today. But if not, let's talk. Let's try to. I want to make sure we can get you in a place where you feel your stuff is being addressed. And I know I should be thinking rationally, but when my commenters start pouncing each other, life just gets a little chipper. Whoo! Whoo! Oh yeah, my cousin was changing the tire and it exploded on his face. Tires are terrifying when you start messing with them as a mechanic. Big Bra starts this. Now, when you say you're wrestling, do you watch wrestling shows or do you participate as a wrestler? Because I know some independent and former semi-pro wrestlers, so it's interesting. Cindy, with that assessment, I would say you should have a lot of potential in the next 2 to 5 years. And I know that's really kind of broad, but Exquisite, Kitty. Like I said, talk to them, get a look at what I'm starting to write. It's a really, what I do is when I talk, and Joe, I saw your comment, I'll get to it. When I talk about martial arts, I try to build a foundation. And people are starting to catch on that I'm trying to build a consistent foundation between the different styles so that at a point in the near future, something like a system for most weapon-based martial arts will be applicable. I don't instruct open-handed because that's not my forte. I've explained that. I'll be happy to discuss my approach to open-handed combat if that's something you guys want. I did get some interesting questions, and we'll see. And I love my. Oh, awesome! I respect that. Okay, let's talk about this, guys. I'm going to make my screen big so I don't look at the other stuff because I need the font to be a bit bigger than what I'm looking at. We'll be starting to look outside my current employer. It's treacherous, but I'm not having much joy. It is not treacherous to do self-care to leave your employers. I have left employers that were dangerous to my welfare. I have left employers who did not respect my scheduling and my time. What happened was there used to be a social contract where if you took care of the company took care of you. And during the 80s, historically, as downsizing became more popular and much more cutthroat approaches towards basically ripping people's pensions off and mistreatment of employees while approaching an undoing of things like unions and other things. While this all picked apart, they expected the loyalty of the employee to stay the same because of necessity. And what they've found is even if organized labor as a movement can regularly be attacked, they don't know what to do when literally everybody goes, no, you're going to treat me right or I'm going to walk. Well, there's no union to break up. There's no leverage. There's no dues. It's just a huge number of Americans realize they're sick and they're unhappy, so they're trying to do things that will make them healthier and happier, and sometimes even if it means making less money. This scares a lot of systems. And with the pandemic, we realized a lot of things are in place to benefit very few when it really takes away from everybody else. So don't you dare hesitate to look out for yourself. You deserve it. You're one of the most kind, giving, and powerfully caring people I've ever met. And I can't wait to see what you do as you continue to empower yourself. Though I hope your writing and your comics and your games make it to the point where you only do things you love, not things you have to do. Hi, guys. I just got right up on that soapbox a little out with less injury. Now, Joe says, what's a one thing? What happens if we pounce the host? Depending on your definition of pounce, it's probably better to speak with my wife for everyone's safety. Love you guys. Okay, now, if there's anything I can help you with Spear, when it comes to basics, let me know. If it gets more complex, I may get my wife in. Not today. She's busily preparing for my son's 13th birthday this weekend, but we're getting stuff in. Ooh, let's see. I've been starting to, yes. And you know what? If you are working with her to convert, don't be afraid to cross-educate. Wow. Not the right gesture for that. Sorry. But what I mean is you're showing her Spear, have her, I don't know if you do rope dart or if that's something she gained on her own, but by all means cross-train. And then I would love to see using a safe rope dart, so probably something like paracord and a tennis ball. I would love to see some combative techniques with rope dart done in a safe manner, we might work and discuss that, kind of workshop how to do flail weapons relatively safely. I would love to see that just as a spectator. I think rope dart is exquisite. However, rope dart is string is knots, knots are magic, and magic, like technology, goes boink around me. And yep, everybody's supporting you, Cindy. You won't find Kyle. I love you guys. I'm so proud of this group. Them your number. Only to you are you number one. Hey, Cindy's one of my number ones. There are people I look and I put in a place of admiration. Okay. I don't rank them a lot. That's not how I think. But I admire Cindy, what she does, what she's accomplished, and what she's about, especially in spite of, and perhaps even because of, some of her limitations. That's impressive to me. That's where we start getting into victory conditions, which folds us nicely into finding I'm sorry to hear that, Cindy. You could probably go for a ruling on those and have them unjust, but that ooh. When I can't speak and I start feeling myself get quiet, I'm angry, and I am angry on your behalf. How dare they? Well, I will pass that on, Johnny. Now, let's see. Oh, and good evening, Flying Feline. Flying Feline has a bunch of wonderful programs, but especially a really neat, fun, very much rated mature for immaturity, a show on Tuesdays at 5 p.m. where she does about an hour of chat and wonderful stuff, and then an hour of bizarre trivia. And it is great fun. It's right in the overlap when I'm trying to get my wife home. So I can't always make it, even though I always try to at least watch it. Follow Flying Feline on YouTube as well, please. The only reason I'm out there, several wrestlers I enjoy. I understand that. I tend to like independent leagues when I'm watching wrestling because it becomes about what they're doing, not just the name. And I tend to like the wrestlers. You like wrestling? Sure. Wrestling is live theater, folks. Good wrestling is live theater. It's acrobatics. It is working a crowd. It is dynamic. Yes, it's scripted. But so is every program most people watch. That's still a 300-pound man throwing another 300-pound man. So enjoy it as it's almost the Shakespearean theater of our era. So don't feel bad about watching wrestling. Now, I also enjoy watching actual sport wrestling and like any martial arts competition because I find it interesting and sometimes very educational. When you start to understand what you're seeing, you can learn. That's why I like Ramsey Dempsey's channel so much on YouTube. If you want to really get into the MMA perspective, Ramsey Dempsey in Shanghai, China. I have trouble saying his name, but his voice is like butter. Anyhow, AEW, yeah. So, okay, we've got that. Hey, Slancha, Ogre. Yeah, it was. I had an enjoyable, a little bit of difficulty because Disney was messing with me, but we got to have amazing corned beef because I've been very careful with my health, but I consider St. Patrick's Day a big deal, and I get a Reuben. My wife made me Reubens. A Reuben sandwich is corned beef, a white cheese. There's some debate. Pumpernickel. I'm sorry. The bread is pumpernickel. Some people go rye. I believe that is wrong. Sorry. But so provolone or Swiss, it depends who you talk to. with sauerkraut. I'm of German descent. I like sauerkraut. It happens. But all grilled together, it is delightful, and it is one of my great joys. So absolutely. Rated at mature for immaturity. Thank you. I'm glad you adore that line. Bizarre trivia. Yes, I plug my friends. And folks, I also want to plug the Raging 2 network. I am part of a morning show where I'm about this energy with Luke Stone on Thursday mornings at 9 a.m., where we usually talk comics. There's oftentimes we're talking about people running campaigns, but it's very much not the formulated, hi, so-and-so, you have a campaign. Let's go screen by screen, because that bores me. We get interesting people. We had Glenn B. Fleming on, and Mike Jimmy LaRocca. Yeah, I know I misspell spoke his name. Speech impediment, folks. If it bugs you, you're in the wrong place. But Live on Quora 5 is amazing. Now, darling, I will plug you because you're putting out positive creative content. I'm on 2 networks currently. I'm part of the Rising Tide Broadcast Network with Brian K. Morris, who I absolutely adore. He's one of the finest men to ever walk this earth. And, I'm ride or die with him. And because Luke Stone's my business partner, he's like, hey, Nick, you want to co-host a show? I'm like, sure. Didn't know if I was co-hosting a series or an episode. Game either way, because I'm cool like that. Oh, CM Punk's just an amazing wrestler. Wrapped up a feud. Wrestling is about, yeah, you gotta. Ouch. Hey, Ogre. Talking to Jenny. St. Patrick's Day is always difficult. You have my absolute deepest condolences. First off, I don't celebrate that aspect of St. Patrick's Day. Okay? I have far too many friends who are pagan to take it that way. Wow. Is it it's a very secular St. Patrick's Day. And I will tell you, we watch Darby O'Gill. We have corned beef and cabbage and potatoes and carrots, and I get my thing. Listen to some great music usually, and we might watch The Quiet Man if we have time. We'll probably watch Quiet Man sometime this weekend. That's about the depth into that, but I do know the history, and I'm just choosing right now to kind of walk past it towards the light on the positive side. Anybody who thinks I have issues with pagans, folks, do you not know me? Yes, I am a Christian. I am currently not terribly denominational. I was raised TV Catholic, but I don't judge because I've actually read the book, and I'm not really supposed to. And I have friends of assorted things because you can't really help anybody if you don't talk to them. That's how I end up in groups that shock people occasionally. But all that being said, you have my deepest condolences on the loss of your daughter, and if there's anything we can do to be there for you, or you want to talk to somebody, you guys have my contact. I just hope I can distract and help things get better. Boom, 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 boom. Tea is good. I actually had my on the topic of caffeine. I had my first Mountain Dew product in a couple months. I had a very small Mountain Dew slushie, which has a very, very tiny amount of caffeine perspective to what I used to do. I was a multiple cups a day drinker. And it looks like I'll be able to handle, knock on wood, a little tiny bit of caffeine in my life, which really helps me because that's something going out and getting slushies with my son has always been a very big deal. So that's very big to me. Frog G. Mike Jimmy, but he's such an amazing person. Mike Jimmy is just one of the kindest, sweetest people, and I love it. Virtual hugs. Plus, we had to work on the day. I have one day of the year that I have traditionally considered a very, very bad day for a different set of reasons. And I'm working to be better. I've worked hard to be better about it, but for we all have different reasons, but we all have at least one day a year that just hits. And I, you know, I hope we can help move it. Good evening, Cindy. Polish. You know what? There's no way to know, and all we can do is support each other through rough times like that. And that makes perfect sense. Sometimes, yeah, you have to have. It's like I talk to the doctors, like, you're diabetic and you're overweight. You have to do this, this, and this. I'm like, yeah, and about once a month, I'm going to go out and have a slushy with my son. Well, that's if I have to not eat sugar that day, if I have to be very careful before and after, I really don't care. If it makes my nerves burn that night, I still don't care. The juice is worth the squeeze. That's the thing with being a responsible adult. When you part of the responsibility is realizing some things you just suck to get. You want to get better. You want to learn to sword fight. You want to learn Western martial arts. You have to do it every day. You just have to drill. You have to train and to read and you have to pay attention and be honest with yourself. And sometimes that really sucks. But the only way to get better is to embrace the suck. And sometimes it's something positive that has a backlash and you have to go, is it worth it? And in very small, I am totally off balance on my sideburns today. It's so I get it. Coffee. Yeah, I don't do Keurigs for another reason. Hot beverage, cold beverage, it's all good. Yes, and the rules of hospitality are beautiful. It seems like it. Sometimes it seems like the world will be dramatically appropriate, even if it's heartbreaking. I've noticed this pattern. And the only thing you can do is work through it and deal with it best you can. And be one of the hardest things to do when you're falling apart because of a memory or an experience. And this is something people in chronic pain know. This is people survivors know. PTSD know. The hardest thing to do is to be able to deal with it and let other people have joy. And that hurts sometimes because it doesn't feel fair because it isn't. But the other thing is you guys are so kind and so nice. I really think better days are coming. Broke your toes? Are you kidding? You need Foxy, you be better, or I'll send a note that says the thesis has to carry you everywhere. He's a big guy, he can do it. Get you one of those like backpack carry things like I had for my son when he was little. I mean, it would be a little more bouncy, but it would work. All righty. Wow. Take care of yourself, buddy. Tape those toes. Jeez. Y'all got to be better. Now, be better to yourself. What do I say every week? Be kind to yourselves and each other. Listen to your sword master. Don't make me go all dommy on you. Come on. Anyhow, okay, let's see. Just don't hard. Wow. Wow. Deep diving the blinding of the Cyclops ogre. Well done. High flying feline. Nice. I respect that. I did see that. And that's beautiful. What? No, don't do that. Polyphemus? Yes. You are a man of extreme culture and education, Ogre. I heartily approve. Now, I'm going to pull us to a different set of conversation. Normally, I'm a little more subtle in this, But I did get some interesting direct comments, and I want to show you guys something that I'm kind of proud of. So let's see. Bam. That's up. That's up. I'm going to show you something. Boom. Over this last, we had a window of a couple of days that were nice. I got the list field back up. It had taken quite a bit of wind damage. And the initial, this is the basic level of the list field for this year, is up. That's one of the two flattest parts of the yard, very close to my house. And quite right and just, sir. Now, this is the standard. The reason I don't have a table is my last table broke, and I need to acquire a new table-like entity. And I've been doing stuff with spears to get ready for the spear video. So the acquired sawhorse, yes, that was found way up north, somewhere along Route 41. It had been abandoned, and I acquired it. That gives you a nice place to prop long weapons up. This is the base. This year, and the reason I haven't been spending the money for the guild lately is I am saving up to try to upgrade that. I'm sorry, I got some family-based messages. Nothing too bad, but I need to do that as well. That should help with that. Yes, okay. So let me know if the feed gets a little squirrely. I was starting to get some lines, but this is a really great place to start. So what I want to do is, I had plans. I had building plans. I was saving up the money, and then inflation and the wildfires tripled all the lumber costs to build what I want to build, which would be something closer to an arena. Permanent supports, a better lighting, something, a lot using solar. Right now, I actually have solar rope lights ringing the list field so that when it gets dark, people can better tell where the edges of the field are. Suggestions, donations, all that's welcome. This picture, if you look up at the screen, is coming from the fancy name for the Historical Fencing Guild's Patreon list, because I put this and a whole bunch of other surprises that are coming up on the HFG, my weekly blog, Cyber Tacto, where I talk about what I'm doing and what's going on. So if you guys are interested in this kind of content, both there and here, be sure to let me know, because there's some good stuff coming down the pipe. Now, Kitty has an interesting comment, and I want to get to being able to read it, so I'll put it. Now, I feel bad for wanting to pull things back on top, but no. We walk through an emotional journey as friends and family. No, Ogre, Kitty came during your lag time. I do want to, before I get to this, because this is meat and potatoes of what we're talking about, I want to say I have a plan to take the money and then use it to upgrade the list field, and then I'm going to probably talk to my friend Joe Bachman and see if I can't get him to wood burn a plaque with you guys' names on it, being all my Patreon supporters. So that would be permanently part of my list field as a way of saying thank you and, representing you guys. But it's not up yet, so if you're thinking of coming back or you want more involved, now's a good time, because that there's going to be a little bit of commemoration, assuming I can get the funds and make this into something I want to do. I'll probably do some rough drawing on this image and brace it out. And that greenhouse is not my house. Mine does not look like it. But and we'll go from there, okay, folks? Now, Kitty says, and we'll go solo. I feel bad for pulling things. Nope. That is the primary. We help each other, but we like to get back on topic. I do have a question about the difference. Absolutely. Well, okay. Hello, Kitty. You said Hello Kitty, and she loves pink. I actually have from, I want to say, the 2020 Summer Olympics, the limited edition Hello Kitty fencer on my wall of cool. I'll take a picture of it, but I won't put it up here because I don't want to deal with. I get like they come after me with copyright threats for a lot. That's why I still have the sheet up, even though I'm redoing my back. Pun intended. Hello. Okay, but fire away. I will tell you, I teach the basic bonehead simple spear, almost the name of a approach for basic beginner spear with the European method, the Western method. If you wish to discuss what the difference is, I can talk a bit about it from a position of, I would say, knowledge but not authority, because I'm going to be honest. So any question you have, Kitty, I can speak. Hold on. Why don't you fire off that question while I have it? But you seem to have much more room. I feel like I missed a comment there. You aren't hitting things when your hands would talk. Yes. What I've been doing. What I've been doing is cleaning out behind me, so I actually can go way back here, which is roughly 36 inches from the screen to make the room, and I've been slowly marching my screen back as I sort the mess that has happened for me gesticulating and knocking things all over. So that's what, yes, and I'm hoping that this. And that's what we're here for, folks. That is what we're here for. But yeah, so if you want to talk, yay room. If you want to talk, Kitty, fire away. If you're not sure, you know how to find me. I mean, they know how to find me. It's almost like I have a Twitter handle right on my screen that says @NickTalker, at @NTalker. Whoops. Okay. I have shrunk a bit too. In the middle, I'm working on it. But not presently because Reuben sandwiches. Yes. The Eastern systems, as a rule, are more circular than Western systems, and they tend to be more complex. Because what's preserved of the Eastern systems are preserved largely. One of the big ways is forms. You have form approach, where you learn a complex series like a dance to physically retain the knowledge, and it's been rebuilt and found to be more elegant, and there's a reference and an artistry leaned heavier in what Asiatic styles, perhaps is a good way to put it. Whereas the more Western styles, it's a much more practical approach most of the time. And what was preserved are scales of martial proficiency, where spears, especially, are not one-person weapons. The Western approach, very often with the spear at its root, is line combat, it's melee combat, and it's a quick thing to arm people who may not be educated in a lot of other weapons, or you don't have the means to educate and arm people with expensive weapons. Swords are expensive. Plus, a spear is much longer. It's a much better battlefield weapon than a sword, as much as I love swords. But it's very boom, boom. I used to have some VCDs. Yes, I'm dating myself. Of the Chinese, I want to say 5-point. It was either 5-point or 7-point style, which was a almost fast and dirty, mass-produced martial art that the Chinese army of the period taught their conscripts. Congratulations, you've joined the Chinese army. Now you're going for Emperor and Gut, and we're going to teach you this style the next few weeks, and you're going to go deal with Mongols. Warring states. I can't quite remember which period it's from, but that's okay. It's the perspective of cranking out. You need to go from having no idea to fight to being able not to die for a while, and we'll move you on. That's where you get that Western. So I tend to teach long spear more like I teach. It's for line combat. It's for group tactics and melee, whereas shorter spears are for more personal defense, but they're more elaborate. The problem is, as soon as I get into a shorter spear, like my boar spear, nice 5.5 foot, 7.5 foot, somewhere in those range, I can't not instinctively turn it into a polearm. It goes from being a poke, poke, poke to, as it gets shorter, you're more dynamic. Think of a rapier versus small sword versus a cutto or a cutlass. A short sword has more dimensionality. It has verticality. It has horizontal. It can do a lot more offline, whereas the longer the weapon, the more linear the attack has to be. So when I see spear, it becomes very glaive-like, or it's a spear, but you better know your staff behind it. And that's why I looked at staff when I started writing the books. And staff is very dynamic. But to me, staff is made of all these pieces of other styles. And to make it work, it's actually easier to make it work at a high proficiency level to train it like you would train with the understanding of everything that came before. I'm a rapierist at heart. That means that's where my first thoughts are. That's where I started the simple sword from. I had done some dabbled a little bit in collegiate saber, not much. Dabbled quite a bit in Iado Boken training. I basically had a book on the Boken. I had, so some kendo, some of that's self-taught stuff. So I don't always count that, but some very core muscle memory was built. And when I take a staff, to me, a staff is a shape-shifting weapon. In one moment, it's a spear, in the next, it's a greatsword, in the next, it's a glaive. And it's just going to be whatever you need it to be. And that's where it's interesting to get into that bag vision. Okay, Baghuan? No. Anyway, I thought I knew what that was, and then I tried to pronounce it, and now I've lost both pronunciations. But was taught to very, very practical. It's interesting because when I first met Swords Age, and we were playing around because I was his living body dummy, I learned a lot from him, but I can't tell you what I learned. I learned a lot from John Miner. I can't tell you what I learned. I learned a lot by just showing up places and respectfully participating. And if I can't participate in maybe social things or that, I watch intently and I learn. But I find often the base style people train in is more effective than the more florid advanced, because they'll go on this route. And it's a lot like, okay, I can't believe I'm reaching out to Avatar The Last Airbanger. Avatar The Last Airbanger. I think we downloaded the wrong movie. Avatar The Last Airbender. When Zuko's going for his Agni Kai, and Iroh's telling him, focus on your basics. Focus on your basics. And he's always telling him, focus on your basics. People get caught up chasing the elaborate and they neglect things like their stance. And it doesn't matter how awesomely florid your blade work is. If your footwork has gaps, you'll fall on your butt and die. And I've seen that time and time again. That's why I stick to what I know. I am not a tall person. I am not a big, tall tree. I'm kind of a short bush. I'm wide, and I'm wrong. I'm a rock, and I know what I know. And you can build from it real easy. That's what I do. I'm a human footstool. Step in my hands, level up to things I don't do, but don't neglect the foundation. So I'm trying to codify the best foundation that I know. And doing that, and then both hands palm up. Both hands palm up. So what you're saying, okay. Sorry, I need something I can grab. You're talking both hands palm up? You're fighting spear palm up. I really don't like that. That's a direct result of me having had the salty corned beef. Thank you for noticing, though. And yes, I do need to drink some more. And I have granola bars here because I feel this is going to go a little later because we've got a good show going, and I like the rhythm. But yeah, I haven't done my exercises. It's also been raining dramatically, so all my joints are going nuts. That's just another thing. Okay, let me see. No. That's how the. Let me see. No. That's how the stroke ends. When your right hand. Oh, you're talking a pool cue strike. Are you talking this? Where it rotates and it comes? Let me see. This? Now, what you may be encountering in part, let me try something. Oh, yeah, I don't like that at all. One of my bizarre abnormalities, along with my many speech impediments, pull that down, is this is my left fist. This is a traditional male fist. This is what a male fist does. It is a square rock. The tendons and stuff are in line to make a square rock. This is my right fist. I have, on my right side, a traditionally female fist. The tendons are literally aligned differently. So if I make a fist, I make a fist. You see this? See this? That twist may not be comfortable for you. Okay, that's okay. The idea being, now I'm not going to tell you what system to do. I would say if it's uncomfortable, don't do it. When I'm fighting spear, let me see. Can I get where angles? Now I can train spear with something this short because this is all the travel I need. I don't need to actually spike. So something like this is great for somebody in Cindy Kep's position. Exactly. But when I do the pull cue, my palms are still together because that retains for me. Now, this is how I do it. Not necessarily the right way, but this retains much more. I can pull the spear and counter draw. So like I'm drawing the sword back, because counter drawing is pulling the sword out of its sheath and you're pulling the sheath back at the same time. You can pull while you're fighting the leverage of the spear for retention. So if I'm out here, I have nothing to control it. You have to have very, very strong hands, very long fingers to do that. This lines up much more nice. For me, a spear thrust is going, the way I teach it's real. I mean, guys, it's bonehead simple here. You've got two basic strokes by my breaking down. And you'll see this all the way from fancy spear fighting manuals to the SAS 2-meter stick. You have a bayonet strike. Both hands are here. Your offhand is palm facing in, so your nails are in. Okay, so if I start like this and I rotate, lead hand is here, boom. Many people like to have their dominant hand as the rear because you're counter aiming and you're doing stuff, and the left hand, your offhand, is doing the guiding. For me, I'm ambidextrous, so I go by which hand feels strong enough or is close enough. So it can be a little tricky. But spear symbol, boom. You practice these, and people don't think about it. You're just like your shoveling is a rising spear strike. So if you shovel and slide up, ooh, I'm getting good material here. That will give you a rising shot to the underside of their chin. So down and up as a combo. Broom sweeps. You're sweeping a broom. That's a basic bayonet strike. Boom, boom. I'm going to have to revisit this. This is good stuff. But the pool cue, when you shoot pool, you have a base that should be stout. Now, my dad is blessed with defined knuckles that make it easier. I have pudgy round hands, even more so than usual. It's okay. And you slide on in. So, right? Palm is down because you're supporting, and you're going. Now, there are ways to do that if your grip isn't good, where you're just supporting kind of like the cross rifle rest. And I've seen some spear strikes like that too. It gets a little funky when you're throwing elbows. But I like to keep them mismatched because I have much more control. Palms down you can do. I know some people who like that. I don't feel strong, and I feel like I get limited because I can watch my wrist. Okay, watch my extension. I go here, it binds, right? Now I'm going to pull it back, I'm going to flip. I'm doing the same motion. See how much farther I get? So I really think, and let me get this comment out. Lead hand, palm up. Rear hand, palm down. Your circles come in your circular disengages. So go around and in. Pull back, go around and in. That's what I usually see. Bam, 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 bam. Now, that's the thing. Spear fighting doesn't get a lot of the complex research and development. It goes. So the Europeans kind of left it there. It's a battlefield technique in a very scrummy place. And for how I've seen it, spear fighting is much more, especially longer spears. It's about you have a shield wall. Maybe you have some guys with great weapons between you, and the spear is second or third rank, taking openings through because they're not guarded. So the shield wall is what's protecting them. Oh, the rising shot, describing it as shoveling, but where you let go. That will probably show up in the simple spear. Silver, for financial reasons, used to be a Patreon member. Understand that, respect it. It is available. The link is available to Patreon members right now to actually read it as I progress on it. So you know how to get onto that. Sorry. I'm not giving out a link because I've had people try to steal my work in the past. Not anyone on this list. It would be tertiary, where they showed it to somebody they trust, and somebody they trust showed it to somebody who might not be trustworthy. Oh, I'm not hounding you, Ogre. I have absolute faith. I'm just explaining why I'm sorry you're not seeing it, because I do feel I owe the people who are paying me to do this a little bit of exclusive content. So I'm working on being fair to them. And while they are excessively generous, I have to work on that. I have to balance this out. I think that's respectful. I can't wait. I would love to, because this is the simple spear. When you look at the way I approach the simple sword, even though it's much longer, it doesn't. It gives you enough to understand. Basically, it was geared originally so that you could authorize technique-wise, as an SCA fencer in the mid-realm in the period where I started writing it. But it's sorry, I saw a comment come by and my brain was just running with it. As I left the SCA, my notes realized I want this to be something more. So it's still very broad, and it's enough to give you a basis. There will always be people who take it much further, and I encourage that. How do I put it? There is no shame in being an elementary student, and there's no shame in being an elementary teacher, as long as you don't go around saying, "I am the greatest. I am, samurai dude, and you have to pay me vast sums of money because I will teach you the secret sacred martial arts." Dude, elitism in martial arts drives me nuts. And that's where we're going to go, wow, we are nearly an hour in. Hey, I do appreciate it. I really do. And if there's some way we can help, if you have creations, you're campaigning, you're advertising, send me a message. I'll be happy to plug your stuff. I would love to see your approach. And yes, you are dating a model. Given that if you weren't dating a model, I am an artist. I compulsively draw my friends at some point. If I'm hanging out with people, even when I'm chatting, I draw them. Like I was chatting with Nita Lanning, and this happened. I was chatting with my boy. This is my boy Luke Stone. My co-host of Nerd Bacon. This happened while on Nerd Bacon because my hands get going if I'm too idle. So yes, by all means. And if you aren't dating a model, you will both date a model and probably end up one at some point or other. I can't help it. I draw people who interest me. Mighty Morphin Mall Ninja, pass the basket. Yeah. Hey, we all go there. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with it. Now, wow, we are at an hour. Normally I would stop it, but we're kind of on a roll. So we talked about the list field. I am PHA does. There was something I wanted to show you. Link me, my friend. Give me just a second. Just because I know some of the folks here will find this cute. We'll go here. The deal of the day is the return of the 16-ounce water bottle, bunny bottle. And that's really adorable. And I might order myself one of these days at 95%, at 25% off, because hydrating is so important. Now, I do have my big red bottle of doom that you guys see every video I do. But threading a thing in gauntlets can be a pain. So I am also looking at merch opportunities for things that I do. And yeah, it's adorable. It's $1.50. It goes to support a American company. Be sure to use, if you buy anything from woodenswords.com, that's Purple Heart Armory, use the affiliate link that's in the comments. It will not cost you anything extra, but it should, if you go through that, get me like 10%, or I'm sorry, 10%. 10%. I think I get 1% or 2% or something like that. So that is something to look at. The spear points are on sale. And if you have Night Shop synthetic swords, the rolling synthetic swords, These are amazing deals. There's only a couple left of the pommels. The swords, the cross guards are gone. I kind of wish I'd bought them, but basically I'm saving my money towards getting the list field up, and then after I've done some shape shifting, I have to modify my gear. But I did want to plug that for you guys because I think it has validity. And yes, see, keep creating, guys. Keep putting that out. I think it is adorable. There is nothing wrong with the swirled rye pumpernickel combo. That is a delightful thing, and I'll put a spicy take on Rubens at the hour mark here, which I should be getting off, but I'm going to go a little longer. My first Rubens were actually turkey Rubens at a place called Andrews in Chicago. It was, I want to say, in the Loop. My dad took me there, and it was phenomenal. And I believe it was on a rye swirl bread. I just happen to adore pumpernickel. Hey, you have a wonderful day, guys. Look up Operation Wrench. Plug Frog G wherever you can, because Frog's an amazing person. Frog's amazing. Been great to us, yes. Nothing weird about it, love. Nothing weird about it. I don't know, but it's good. Then I had one with, classic pumpernickel, corned beef. Oh, God. I don't know what I'm going to eat, but I'm going to have to eat after this. Not because of low blood sugar. Guys, look. People worry about my blood sugar. I want to tell you, look. I've got gummy fruit snacks if I need them. I've got granola bars if I need them. All great value brand because, I'm a shill for corporate knockoffs. But, now, let me see. Is there anything else I really want to talk about? Yes, there is. There is something I briefly want to hit on because I had a bit of a revelation lately. And I want to bring it up. I think it fits real well in our mood. And we'll wrap it up. I will do... I was asked to talk about what I would do if I were transported into a fantasy world. It was a really neat question, but today's commentary has been far more important than any of that shenanigan. So maybe next week, as both a swordmaster and a game designer, I'll cross the streams a bit and I'll talk about that if you guys are interested. That's why you have comments, but before I get into that, I want to talk about choosing your own difficulty. Okay? We live in a world. Okay. My wife is allergic to milk, so we used fake cheese. There is gluten-free breads, and some of them actually taste quite good. Don't be afraid to research. You'll have to pay a bit, but it's delightful. And if you can't get as many of the components you have, just get a slice. I'm going to tell you, get yourself a good slice of corned beef. Put yourself some of that fake cheese on there. I'll look up the ones we use. We use Chow. We Follow Your Heart is a good brand, and there's no milk in it. Some sauerkraut. The cheaper the better. You want an ugly sauerkraut for Ruben. You don't want sweet high-end sauerkraut. You want one that's you open that up and you hear, "I know nothing." That's the right grade of sauerkraut. Fake bread and cheese can make an awful pizza. Seriously, I will talk to you because I have to alternate with that because of my wife and son's allergies. Oh, okay. Fat guy moment. There's a place called Al Johnson's. It's in Sister Bay, Wisconsin, in Door County. I ended up on a trip with our own Steve Clausen, and he took me there. They feature a smoked goat cheese that will make you weep. It is so rich and mild, which doesn't sound like it should be, but is, and it melts like it touches your tongue and almost melts like butter. Oh my gosh! Okay, but so that's delightful. Seriously, you are in the right group to get better help if you want that. Nice. Nice. I saw that. That made me hungry. Choosing your own difficulty. Right now, a lot of people are talking about this game, Elden Ring. Elden Ring is a Dark Souls-esque game. Same maker, same style, grind till you die. And this is so hard. And some people really enjoy it. I thought, I'm kind of feeling a little bit of gaming. So I fired up Skyrim. I'm like, that's not hard. No. But it's the difficulty I want. And there is a mythos. There is a elitism. Yeah, it's a death simulator. About, I went on the hardest. And it's a lot like the people who have to have the hottest sauce. I have death, Satan's tears. It's the most ultimate. What is it? Devil's breath? What the heck was that stuff? Anyway, nightmarishly hot Scoville stuff. I don't want that. It doesn't taste, there's no way it tastes good. You're just like suffering to prove you can. And there's enough of that in life. So when you're looking at your training, if you don't feel like doing something as extreme as a lot of other people, it's okay. Okay, I want you guys to get that. This is sort of going on my final thought for the evening. Pick what gives you fulfillment. Okay? There is nothing wrong with being the kind of runner who is going for the gold. They're going for marathons. They got to put band-aids over their nipples so they don't bleed through their shirts and stuff. And see? Exactly. Get good scrub has its purpose, and there are times for it when you're chasing that. But what I'm saying is, don't be afraid, even if you've been a marathon runner, to enjoy a simple walk. Like, I've played Skyrim for years. I mean, it's Skyrim. And right now I'm playing through just enough to get the unlocks so that I can just chill. They unlocked fishing on Skyrim. I'm like, I'm going to turn my Skyrim into a fishing and hunting simulator. And crafting. I'm not going up that mountain and firing up the big dragon quests. I don't care what the Greybirds bellow about. I'm going to level up enough to get a few things I want and just chill. I have mods on that make it prettier. I won't get my achievements. Oh, I might not progress the storyline. Oh, and no one's going to be like, you're playing Skyrim. But I'm having fun. I think about that because one thing I see a lot is negativity for people who, they're LARPies. They like to LARP. They like their buffers. They feel safe. They have fun. And then you have like the fencers and the heavy fighters, like SCA style, who look down at fencers. You're not real tough. You're being all soft and gentle. You need a club. And then you have the bowhurt guys who are like, we're using blood and steel and frying pans. Hurrah! You have the two chucks who run around, half naked doing it. I'm not MXR plays. I'm literally using the scenery, better graphics on console mod, and the fishing mod, and I think it improves spellcasting mod. I'm finally experimenting with mods because it's fun. I've been playing Skyrim since I've never gone hard. Well, that's my thing. I will give you a bit of behind the curtain. Yep, I have an Xbox One, so I just got the fishing one not too long ago. But I play a lot of my real life on hard mode. I have a special needs son. That gives challenges most people never endure. Um, I've spent the last going on 2 years building up from walking with two crutches, incredibly short distances, to barely needing a cane unless I'm being an idiot and like shopping Walmart aisle by aisle or something. But so when it comes to gaming, I tend to play it pretty light. I'm a big fan of normal or easy levels. Sometimes I get crazy and I want to do completionist, but most of the time I'm just increasingly casual. Yes, I said two chucks. You know two chucks? Oh God, great people. I love the two chucks. Some of the most honorable fighters I've ever met were two chucks. Crazy. I mean, running around in minimal armor with joints, a gorget, helmet, cup, and being mad you have to wear closed-toe shoes, maybe gaunts, maybe not, and beating on each other bare-chested seems insane to me. But they're having fun and they're nice about it, and they're not dicks. Usually. Sometimes they are, and guess what? The problem is that they're two chuck, it's that they're dicks. But yeah, I've known some two chucks. Great, neat people. I've known some SCA heavy fighters who were amazing. I've known some SCA fighters who long walk, short pier, and full armor. Cool off, boys and girls. Same way with fencers. I've known some SCA fencers who were the most amazing people on the earth, and some who were absolute scum. You'll find it ever. But I like people who are sincere. They are. They're hardcore, and I respect them for that. I also don't challenge them because I have nothing to prove. I have a wife, I have a kid, I have a house. It needs work. Like my wall, a lot of the bricks are leaning. I have this wonderful group of people I've built online where I can help people. And I have a system that helps new people learn. And people who couldn't necessarily learn other ways learn. And sometimes they grow beyond it. Sometimes they find it gives them what they need. Sometimes it takes tweaking. But I'm of service. I don't seek to be powerful, and I don't seek to be terribly famous, honestly. Praise quickly makes me uncomfortable because I'm not used to it due to my own life experiences. But being useful is important to me. It's vital. That is one of the things I hang the hat of my personality on. I want to be kind first and useful. So I hope it. I hope bam. Oh, I want to play Hellish Court. Hellish Court, I am very aware of. It's basically the granddaddy of Soul Calibur and Bushido Blade. I will make exceptions for certain kinds of fighting games that make sense in what they're doing. So I would have a lot of fun with that. You're sincerely delightful, Foxy. Don't beat yourself up. Oh, hi, Ryan. Yeah, Hellish Court. What the problem is when you know how to do stuff, the game simulations almost always feel a little rough. I used to ride dirt bikes and a little bit of motorcycles and a few things. So bike simulators feel funny sometimes. It's hard to explain till you know. Weapon-based fighting games bug me, especially when you run. You stab somebody through, and they keep fighting after you've done stuff that should have just ended them. Rightly, pummel. No. Anyway, but yeah, it's Off in the Woods, if I remember right, is Ryan Coker, a delightful individual I met in the before times, who is an aficionado of admire and sincerely one of the funnest people I've ever had to spar in all my years doing. His form is, there are some people when you see them fight, you can stop. And at any point you take a picture, you'll see you can almost match up frame by frame with their technique because it's so refined. And because he's very athletic, it is delightful to watch him fight. So I really think that. I'm not Nick. I'm not Nick. I never said good. Good. Don't ever be hard on yourself. Well, there's a smiley face there. Trust me, brother, you're more famous than you think. I've got martial arts around the world who I direct to your book or your channel. Because thank you so much. Because I really, I don't charge my students. I've only charged one ever, and that's because gas prices were really high. I needed gas money to go to his home and provide in-home instruction for him and his kids. And he ended up giving me minis and cool stuff instead. So, yeah. The people who pay me and let me do it are my Patreon members. And I am so honored to have that. You mean you don't, like, in games like Mordhau, an unarmored dude with a butcher knife can just walk right up to a guy with a... Yes. Yes, I exactly mean that. That is my exact point of annoyance. Like, I like Capcom. I like their games to an extent. To an extent. I'm not a big Street Fighter guy. Darkstalkers? Was it Vampire Savior? All day. Oh. But there are moments where it's like, that doesn't compute. It just doesn't compute. And the more realistic a game tries to be and claims to be, when it isn't, it hurts more. I don't know if that makes sense. I also, and maybe it's just literal brain damage from what I've endured in life. I mean, I stammer for reasons, folks. Or maybe it's my nerve damage. I don't like complex mechanics in games either. That crazy combo. It's like, block the sword, move offline, stab. Make it open. You don't need to over-elaborate it. Wow, I love it. I'm sorry, I just noticed that when I get the lighting just right, my eyes catch the flash of blue and I look like I'm on the Spice from Dune. I'm okay with that. The sword is good life, The Spice's sword. But anyway, yes, absolutely. I feel your pain. Oh, now art styles. It's all. Rival Schools is... I'm sorry, Rival Schools. Did I drop Rival Schools? I think of Darkstalker, Street Fighter, Rival Schools. I love that classic Capcom art style. And, that might be something, I need to do more live draws and stuff on my other channel, where I talk about that sort of thing. But big weapons are usually better than small weapons, unless you don't see the small weapon coming. I'm an empath, darling, and can't help it. Oh, and to the folks who I occasionally get messages, Nick, you have to be careful with those terms of endearment. I am not being derogatory. I am meaning to be complimentary. And if anyone ever tells me I'm not comfortable with something like that, well, I apologize, because it's certainly not meant to be offensive or saying I care about somebody. It's never meant to be that way. And then I don't. But I care deeply about people, and especially the people. If I feel I can bring comfort, I bring comfort. And so it is. Oh, man, that movie would have been a whole lot different if my man Burt Gummer had shown up. I'm just saying. And my bird is back. Whoa, the bird is back. The bird wars continue. Okie dokie. I suck. I tried Dark Art, so it went into Brutal Legend. And you know what? I played Dark Souls. My problem wasn't just the difficulty, it was the grimness of the setting. Shockingly, what you're seeing here, grimness is not my jam. I have a perspective. I've held people's hands while they died. Or they found out people they care about die. I have known death. I have dodged it narrowly. I've seen a vast amount of blood in my life, most of it my own. I don't seek out the grim and depressing. Now, it can be dark and cool, like everybody loves Batman, whatever. And some horror movies are awesome if they're well done. But I don't want depression. See, that's part of my problem. I associate with a lot. I'm around a lot of Southern people, and yeah, I mean, you listen to me talk. People have thought my relationships were much more complicated than they are, and it's just I care. Now, the other thing is, I'll call my male friends darling. You know what I mean? My brother, you know I love you. Because I do. I'm a little guy, big heart. I love folks. And there's nothing wrong with that. I enjoy watching Thesis play. That's fine. Okay, so let me explain. There is something important. From software. Yes, folks. Dark Souls, Elden Rings, all that. Have you got that out of your system? Well, I'm speaking directly to From Software because I know they're watching my show. Everyone should. Guys, friends, it's time for them to return to Armored Core. Can we please get Armored Core? At least 2-player split screen, local. And don't do 15 modes. Don't do beast mode and transformation mode and whatever mode. Keep it simple. But bring back Armored Core. Because the last best Armored Core that has come out in recent quote-unquote years was actually Front Mission Evolved, which to get there, it had to get rid of one of my favorite tactics games of all time. This is crazy white guy gamer rage. No, seriously, love you, Armored Core. I love you, Armored Core. Love you, From Software. Keep doing what you love. I'll keep watching. Anyhow. Yes, that's why I watch very little media. I stay enough, and I love the term mystery porn. I stay involved enough to know what's going on. And because I can analyze trends pretty well, I'm smarter than your average bear when it comes to that sort of thing. Very few things come as a surprise to me. I've been talking about Russia doing something for a few years because I watch when I'm a history nut, and I watch major arms sales. And if 2-3 years ago, Merkel had Germany cancel all their productions of tanks, stop selling them, and cancel all foreign contracts, stop selling existing ones, and maintain production. When the Germans start building tanks, they're worried about the Russians. And I said that 3 years ago, so it's okay. Exactly, if you've paid any attention. So I pray for the best, prep for the worst, and I keep going. TJ. Well, you ever play Borderlands? There's a blind guy named TJ. I can't remember his last name, but I love the dude. And that's kind of my attitude towards your sordid apocalypses. Try to take care of folks. Be better than the situation. Be useful. Learn stuff. You don't have to know everything, but learn what you can. I'm pretty careful with my terms of endearment. At least at F, I'm going to tell the people I love before I lose it. You know how many times I've nearly died? You don't. And nobody really should. I'll probably never really know all of them. I've had an interesting life in interesting times. I care. And I spent years being told, that's not cool. You need to be aloof. You can't care. People don't dig it. Then don't dig it. My caring isn't contingent on your behavior usually. I mean, there are exceptions, of course, but guys, I care. So, you know what? Every week I say the same thing, and it's getting on that time. I'm going to remind you guys that the Historical Fencing Guild is made possible by these amazing people. Oh, wait. Imagine this with a snap brim hat at a Nightwish concert in the Aragon Ballroom in Chicago, or watching this tweed hat, tweed jacket with the sleeves, watching a Evanescence cover band do a dang good job of making you think Amy Lee was in the room. Yeah, I hang out with everybody, so yeah, Aloha shirt is totally goth. It can be. Yeah. And that's okay. If you can use grief as fuel to become a better person, the people who love you and a more appreciative person on either side of the veil, because I have very pronounced beliefs on such things, a little elaborate, perhaps a little sideways. Nick is a rainbow goth. I might be, I've been called everything else. But guys, you guys make me being able to be helpful. While I've dealt with the physical stuff, while we've been surrounded by pestilence and war and famine. Oh yeah, my music. Anybody who knows me knows that my music can get real interesting and kind of dark, but I like bittersweet in my music. I like stuff that has something to say and something that has a story and is kind of catchy in a weird way. 3 a.m. music is something, but I'll talk about that again some other time. It's been a while since I've talked about it. But, guys, I can feel my voice starting to go. So, thank you for yet another lovely program. I hope I've buoyed your spirits at all. Maybe you learned something. We have some stuff we can talk about next week, and that's okay. The Historical Fencing Guild is brought to you by, and I didn't even turn my pit banner on. I knew I forgot something this week. The Historical Fencing Guild Patreon group, The Simple Sword and the Fighting Axe, both available through Amazon at www.author/Nicholas Tuckert. That's me. That should work. If that link isn't working, let me know, because Amazon's been tweaking. You can get these very books at reasonable prices there. Both available through Amazon. Both available in paperback and in Kindle. Sorry, losing my voice. And yes, water's right here. It'll be refilled as soon as I'm done. And I listen to everything from Mozart to Mudvayne, depending on my mood. Guys, be sure to do your drills. Keep your guard up. Be kind to yourself and each other. I think I've talked about this tonight. It bears repeating. Be kind to yourselves and each other. And as always, folks, thank you for supporting your local swordmaster. Good night.